when you talk about raw pace and somebody who could hack the touchline and be a nightmare to defenders, they probably don't get better than you. Thanks for joining me, Mumamba Numba. I hope I said it right.
Yeah, you said it very correctly.
Even your chief would be proud of me.
Very proud of you.
Excellent. Let's talk about your football journey, shall we? A lot of people have seen your career, but even for those who haven't seen it, it was something that they were probably happy to be associated with. That pace on the wide areas. How did it all start? And where?
First and foremost, thank you very much to appear on your program. I think I come from a footballing family. My dad used to play football, and that is where we've gotten the football that we've been playing.
Was he as quick as you?
He was very quick. He was
Quicker?
a left footer.
Oh.
Left footer. That is where our firstborn Numba got it from. They left from.
And you were right. Anyway, let's talk about positions, shall we? So, off my head, and I grew up seeing Mumamba playing there. Mostly terrorizing defenders, and we're just a nightmare to mark, especially if you're not quick.
Yeah, of course, when somebody's played this side on the flank, on the right flank, normally, depending with the system that a coach is using, but let's say if a coach is using the 4-4-2, like the way it is, 4-4-2, you put somebody with good pace this side and this side, because mostly this side, football of nowadays is about wing play. You create most scoring opportunities from the flanks, because here mostly it's one-on-one situation. So once you've got somebody with good speed, is able to take on a man, dribbles him, you have an opportunity to receive a cross from the winger there.
Yeah, tell me something. And moving into the generations, 90s into the 2000s, you were playing in that generation. Let's just talk about your development. And I know you probably played many formations. I hear we'll talk about this at Blades. I hear you play sometimes a 3-5-2. And where would Numba play in the 3-5-2?
In the 3-5-2, sometimes
wing back.
Sometimes I will play behind the two strikers.
As the number 10. Oh, as the 8.
Yeah. Okay, because normally we'll have 3 at the back. We'll have 3 at the back. Then we have 1 defensive midfielder. Then
2 attacking.
2 attacking midfielder. With
these wing backs.
These wing backs. So normally I used to play here at Blades.
Which one was your favorite position?
Me, I was one player who was very comfortable to play at any position, starting from midfield.
6 up. Never.
That is how I never struggled playing any position. So it was easy for me to fit in any team, because once I'm put here, I'll deliver for the coach. When I'm put as a defensive midfielder, I'll deliver.
Okay, let's talk about
the player I was.
Let's talk about your time at Ndola United. 90s. The era of the 4-4-2. Was that the only thing you actually met when you're in Ndola in the under 18s?
Yeah, of course. In Ndola we used to play a 4-4-2. Sometimes I would play maybe number 9 or 10. Yeah, because of the speed that I had, the coach would prefer to position me at number 9 or 10. And I would score for the team. Maybe in a game I was scoring maybe 3 goals, 5 goals when I was playing at Ndola United.
And I'm thinking you must have been very particular about the kind of service you received.
Yeah, of course. I was very good at aerial balls, but I was more comfortable receiving the ball on the ground because I had excellent ball control. It was very difficult for a defender to get the ball from my feet when I've controlled the ball. So I would use my speed to outsmart the defenders. So they found it very difficult to mark me when I'm playing at the top. And I enjoyed because the pitch was big for me when I'm playing at the top.
In the middle.
Yeah, because I'll be moving around.
But perhaps when you play up top, less defensive work. That would be the average argument.
Yeah, of
so
course.
Ndipa Muru,
Hey
guys, work and
it depends.
bring the ball.
Yeah. In the past, when we played here, we never used to come down a lot. But football is changing. Football is changing nowadays. Now we are encouraging even the strikers to drop and help us
and help defensively.
Yeah, depending with the team that you are playing. So every game is determined by the team that you are playing. You have to plan according to the team that you are playing, their strengths, their weaknesses, so that you are able to manage them and outsmart them on the pitch. But once you can't read between the lines, especially as a coach nowadays, it's very difficult to win games. So you have to be very clever and to think very fast for you to outsmart your other coach. I think that is why, especially when you go like in continental football, a coach needs to think a lot.
Think fast.
Yeah.
Tell me about thinking and the ideas that Andre Mutini had. And not many people are going to know Andre Mutini on the coaching side of things. But now I'm curious. Coached you at Ndola Wanderers. How did he want his football to be played? What were his specific demands on you?
Of course, he used to play me on the left side because I was able to use...
In a 4-4-2?
Yeah, in a 4-4-2 formation. Though sometimes when he was playing also, because sometimes he would feature himself on the left flank. Then I would move to the right. Yeah, so he got me from Inmex, where I was playing in 1993, when the team was in the 3rd division, Ndola Wanderers. He was the coach and the owner of the team. So he's the one who saw this talent.
Player, coach, owner. I've never heard of player, coach, owner.
Yeah, he's one person who spotted the talent in me, and he has contributed to who I am today.
What did he actually teach you in terms of playing in the wide areas? What would he be very particular about?
You know, whenever we had the briefing, he was telling me, he would say, Numba, you know you've got the speed. Just use your speed to eliminate the defenders, then you have goals. He would give me all the freedom to do anything on the ball so that I can help the team win games.
The modern game, as in playing as a winger, these days you have your wingers who actually, especially if you are right-footed, you're played on the left, you're encouraged to come inside. And we are coming from an era where you'd be advised probably go to the line, wick across, and then your number 9 and your number 10 get to join the... What was your feeling as a young man, the idea of either playing on the line or having to come inside?
Yeah, I think for me, I was very comfortable playing on either side. Because once I get the ball, I can cut in and shoot using my strong leg, which is the right leg. Or I can dribble, go down the line, and bring in a very good cross using my left leg. So I was very comfortable playing on the left side or the right side. Now, so that was the good thing about me. When I'm cutting, I used to score a lot of goals when I cut in, because when I get somewhere here, I would shoot at goal.
But one would ask and say, probably now in transition, when you're attacking and probably the wingers are up, especially if you're playing a 4-4-2, like you've played many times in your career. Once you lose the ball there, the biggest danger in the transition is that you've committed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 most of the times. Were you very particular, or were people putting pressure on yourself and your teammates who were playing wide to probably, when we lose the ball, immediately get back into a position where we begin to defend?
Yeah, the way football is, especially when you've got a dribbler here or a winger with good speed, once you are able to put pressure on this guy, then this guy will find it difficult to start going up. But if you are not putting this guy under pressure, if he starts going up, then it is you now who start doing what? Chasing this guy. So for me, what I used to do when they put me this side, the moment I get the ball, I have to take on this guy, so that he knows that this
keep
guy,
him pegged into his half.
You know that if I go up, this one gets the ball, then we'll have problems. So it means this guy will just be waiting for me here. Then I've made it easy for myself,
even not to go back to defend.
Because this guy is not doing anything. He's afraid of going up. Okay,
so you made the switch to a big team, huge team, and to play under a legend, Benjamin Wale, Konkola Blades. First of all, what really motivated the move from Ndola, your hometown or your place of birth, to actually take on the challenge of going to Konkola Blades?
Yeah, of course, it is what I was doing at Ndola United. I think whenever you were watching Ndola United, you could easily see that there is a winger there. That is how the late Benjamin was spotted me, and got me to Konkola Blades in 1997. Big
team, huge. I mean, big supporters comes with a lot of pressure. How did you settle in? And probably more lights on you, so to speak.
Yeah, for me it was very easy to fit in the team because Ndola United was equally a well-supported team with a good crowd whenever we were playing league games. So when I switched to Konkola Blades, it was very easy for me to play because I had already gotten used to the crowd, so it was very easy for me to play. And the moment I got there, people were able to see and notice my impact on the pitch, and I'm very happy that I was among the people that won the Mosi Cup for Konkola Blades when I moved to Konkola Blades, and I think that was in 1998 when we won the Mosi Cup, and we won it at Independence Stadium against Zanapo Football Club.
Okay, never mind what that actually meant. I'm sure it caused laugh at first sight. Yeah. Let's talk about Benjamin Wale, or how Benjamin Wale rather. What was his approach? How did he want Blades to play in your time there?
Yeah, basically Benjamin was using a 3-5-2 formation. He was using right wingers on the flanks. Then we have 3 central defenders with 2 defensive midfielders.
Then 1 striker, and then 1 number 10.
2 strikers. Then me as a supporting striker. 2 defensive midfielders and 1 offensive striker, midfielder.
So the idea was probably to 1, 2, 3 should have the freedom to actually attack and not worry about.
Because he was using wingers this side, and you know, people who play in front, they are not very good at defending. Back. That is why he used 4 central defenders with 2 defensive midfielders, so that when this guy goes up, this guy will cover for them.
And either way,
Yeah.
Was it 1 up, 3 down? Could the other wing back on the left actually go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward,
Yeah,
go forward?
when we are attacking, they have to move up. They were moving up because when you are attacking, you have to defend as well. You have to make the pitch small. You have to narrow the spaces so that it's easy for these guys in front to do what? To defend. When we lose the ball, it is easy for these guys to defend. But once the defense stays behind here, and you see this
space in
here.
the
So
middle.
when the opponents get the ball, it will be very difficult for these guys to do what? To help the defense. As a result, the defense will be easily exposed. That is why in modern coaching, we encourage the team to attack and defend at the same time. They have to move up so that we are compact all the time.
Now I'm now thinking, according to Benjamin Walia's ideas, if you make this movement, I'm sure the next threat is one long pass over the top, and then these three can be chasing against a very quick play.
Yeah. Normally, what we used to have, we had 2-man markers. This guy would pick, this guy would pick.
Against the 4-4-2 side.
Then this guy will be loose. If this guy goes, sometimes this guy would do what? Will come and help. That is
to specifically
job.
man mark.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if you break this commandment, it was probably a big problem. But if 1 versus 1, the striker is quicker.
It's quick.
And then the opponent actually identifies that we can hook the ball
behind. Yeah, that is why you had this guy,
sweeper.
The sweeper here.
Offside trap.
So that whenever he will be here, but covering this guy and this guy, so that in case this ball is played here, he will be the first one to do what?
To cover.
To cover. Then this guy will do what? Then this guy also will drop.
Was it a complicated formation? I'm sure for you people to actually understand it.
No, it was very, very easy for us to understand and implement it on the pitch. That is why every time
had you played it before, Blade?
No, at Ndola United we played a totally different system, but it is about somebody's intelligence on the pitch and getting instructions from the coach. But if a player is not able to pick the instructions from the coach on how to implement the tactical plan of the coach on the pitch, then you have difficulties to play football. And
then your opponents would usually come 4-4-2. And they would very well know that we are playing a 3-5-2 side.
Yeah, in those days, I think in the 98, 90, I think when we had a person at the national team, he's the one who introduced this formation in Zambia, this system in Zambia. That is how most of the teams reverted to using this 3-5-2 because of Posen.
Did you actually play the wing-back position at any point for Coach Benjamin?
Yes, sometimes. Normally at Konkola, they used to put me here as the left back.
But with the whole license to run the whole line?
Yeah, to run up and come and rest here. Because we had very strong central defenders who would cover us. Whenever they cover us, these guys also will come. So for us, we're just resting somewhere here because we were wingers. The three defenders,
central defenders, and the anchormen.
2 defensive midfielders, they were mostly doing the job of marking for us. When they get the ball, they knew that we've got people with pace there. They would just get the ball here.
Did it require a new level of fitness to actually play?
You needed to be
the 3-5-2, especially if you're the wing back.
The 2 guys. You needed to be very fit to play this because you were required to go up and come down, up and down. So it required a lot of endurance from a player. So the fitness was supposed to be very, very good.
But a lot of coaches, and I'm sure as a player, I hear the fitness regime during those days was
Yeah.
was let me call what maybe the player in 2020 call it just brutal. Like the coach wants to kill us, and a lot of physical work went into your preparation.
Yeah, mostly in the past, we did most of the physical part of the game, is what kept us in the game. Physical was the name of the game those days. Because the coaches concentrated on the fitness of the player, because they knew that the player I've got the talent and the passion. So once they just inject fitness in a player, then everything will be okay on the pitch.
What was the opportunity cost? Did the way you when you saw Blades play and when you saw Rod Paulson play with the national team, did the 3-5-2 look exactly the same, or it had its differences?
No, it was exactly the same. It was exactly the same. The only difference is the roles that the coach would give his players, because there are certain players where when you restrict them, they won't give what you expect from them, especially these who play up front. Once you just restrict them, then it will be difficult for them to express themselves. So you, as a coach, you need to give them the liberty to be mobile, to move around, so that they give you what you expect from them.
Yeah, may his soul rest in peace. He actually answered the Lord's call. And then in camp fight on Simkonda, hard tackling central defender coming from Nkana. Now I'm curious. What was his idea about how the game was going to be played when he arrived?
You know, fight on Simkonda, may his soul rest in peace, is one of the best coaches that we had in his generation. I think he's a coach who had no pressure. I think he would give the player the confidence to play, so that they give him results. That is why every team that he coached, results were coming.
Because they played with no pressure.
Yeah, he was one coach who was very calm. You would not hear him shout at a player. He will only shout in the dressing room.
Oh,
but when the game is being played, he will be a calm man.
Halftime.
All he will do is he will be just guiding the team.
Halftime, there was a lion.
Yeah, when he gets into the dressing room, he was a lion in the dressing room. That's the kind of a coach he was.
Tell me about his approach. How did he want Blades to play? And now I'm now thinking to myself, from a country that believes in flair play on the wings, 3-5-2, from two players playing on the line, overlapping fullbacks to wing backs. What did Fighton Simkonda actually feel?
When Fighton came, we started using a 4-4-2 formation, a diamond. We would position us like this. So we would have here we have maybe Chama Mshota or Charles Kafla, the technical advisor at Red Arrows. Here we would have Collins, is now in Mansa, he works for Zesco. Then here we would have Lewington Mjembe or Ernest Miti the late. Then we will have Harrison Tembo here, Francis Kasonde there. Then we have the Abraham Mutuila. I'll be here. Then we have Stanley Boa and Dominic Changwe or young Charles Lot.
Was there a difficult? How difficult was it to actually, the Benjamin Walia has left us with this way of playing football, for him to change? What did he really need to do? Was it a delicate thing he needed to?
No, normally we would do practice this in training. We do it in training because you have to repeat it. Everything in training. When you introduce something, make sure you do it week in, week out, so that the players get it.
Yeah. Question. Probably, when you talk about the diamond, is that you either want your midfielders to be there to form a compact diamond, or I've seen certain coaches who are saying, gentlemen, hug the line. Which one did Phaeton actually want you to play?
Phaeton would encourage us to do this.
So these were actually central midfielders?
These were wingers. When we have a defensive midfield and attacking. When we lose the ball, we make this diamond shape.
Oh, that's defensive shape.
Defensive. But when we immediately get the ball, these guys have to do what?
Play like
to
typical
give us
wingers.
the width.
How did the opposition react to the way Blades were trying to play?
It was very difficult because whenever teams came at Konkola Stadium, they were finding it very difficult to play because the pitch is big.
That's one.
The pitch was thick.
Deliberately thick.
Yeah, we were telling the groundsman, can you keep the grass that we can punish the opponent? They would play 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, they break down. Then
you start playing
until the game finishes.
Tell me something. Two schools of thought. It's either you play like the English, where you hook one ball long and try to play on the second ball, or you can play like the technical Brazilians, fair play, starting from the back and whatnot. What was becoming fashionable during your time? And which one did you prefer to actually play?
During our time, the coaches encouraged us to build from behind, to start from behind. Sometimes, depending with the situation, the back four can hit the ball to the strikers there. Then, those days we had very good number 9s and 10s who were able to control and hold the ball for the team to come and give them support. I think this was determined by the situation.
And the kind of players you probably had.
Yeah, we had players who were big in stature with good ball control. So it was very easy when the long ball is hit to them, they would keep that ball and bring it back to the midfielders. The midfielders then brings it to the wings. So it was very easy. I think the only difference with the current generation is the understanding. The current generation, some they are taking a very long time to adapt to the tactical aspect of the game.
Switch of whether you're playing long.
Understanding of the game. That is the only problem that we have nowadays. The understanding of players to grasp what the coach wants to do.
Where does the problem start? And I ask this question because you've also coached youngsters. Do you find this problem when they're still young, or it's something that you just meet and it's impossible to stop?
It's not really difficult, but it depends with the background of a player, because somebody who has been to school will be able to understand things easily.
So the educational aspect of the players also is an issue.
Because it requires intelligence on the pitch. Players needs to be intelligent. There are people who have never been to school, but they use the intelligence on the pitch like somebody who has been to school. So there are two different players on the pitch. Some have been to school, but understanding the concept of the coach, it takes a bit of time. So the coach needs to be patient so that all the players gets what he's teaching them.
So I bounce the same question. If we wanted to fix this, what do we do to the young players? Yes, we start them early, granted. But when they're young, what else should we also do? Because you've also coached and played at a higher level. So what affects the possibility for a player to understand the instruction that's being given, and for him to actually understand the concept in full.
Yeah, I think the best is to teach them when they are young. It's easy for a player to grow with something when he's young. Unlike you come and teach somebody when he's already grown, it's very difficult.
Well, so when do we start? Because a lot of people say under 8, under 6, under.
Yeah, I think under 9. I had an opportunity one time. Zanako sent me for an attachment at Fairnode in 2007, where I watched, because they had about 4 or 5 teams. They started with under 9, 11, 13, 15, and 19. So what they were teaching those under 9, and the whites, they are different from us, because all they want is, if they've got a child who happens to be a boy, they want him to become a footballer. So what they do is they would bring their children at the pitch. Then the club would just provide footballs. Then they are just playing with the balls, maybe for an hour. Then the parents come, they pick them, they take them. So they are growing with that. When they are about 6, 7 now, they put them in the teams. They start preparing them. So if you happen to watch them play the under 9, you would be surprised. The way they would knock the ball around, you would be surprised. Are these under 9?
They play like, at what level can you compare them back home?
They can, just like the way you see these guys in the Premier Division.
Some of them.
The way
they're playing under 9 stuff.
9, but the way he's controlling the ball, the way he's handling the ball, you see that, no, this boy is good. But we don't see that in most of our players nowadays. So it is very difficult nowadays for a coach, because we've got a lot of work to do nowadays. But the moment you've got players who are intelligent, it is very easy.
It's very hard. I'm just thinking, you start preparing for your game over the weekend. How would your typical work be? And then the supporter in the crowd is complaining about player X can't control the ball. And then versus time, and time to dedicate specific solutions to specific problems for individual players. How easy or difficult is it, especially if you are saying that the background is not very good?
Yeah, when the background is not good, you as a coach, you have to be quick to notice that. So that you introduce a bit of individual training to certain players who are not up to the required standard that you want. So we come up with a certain program so that we teach individual players so that they get to improve on the aspects of football which they are not doing well. So that when you bring them in the team, they will easily fit. So it is up to the coach. Once you are able to notice that, then it will be easy for you to improve on the.
But does it work? Does it help?
Yeah, it helps. It helps. You have to do it, because not all the players.
Because I'm thinking in one breath you're saying, you're trying to prepare the team tactically, and then you've got these individual problems, and maybe the whole group is also not understanding your concepts.
Yeah.
And then your boss is saying, I'm giving you a 3-game ultimatum or whatever it is. You need to win.
Yeah. As a coach, you don't have to panic. Whether results are coming or not coming, all you need is just to be calm, so that you correct things on the pitch. Once you put yourself under pressure, then it will be difficult for you to handle a team.
Let's talk about you as a player. Let's go back. George Mungo, he played some of the cutest football this country has ever seen. You linked up with him at Zanaco, 10 of the millennium, year 2000. Why leave Blades? Why Zanaco? And I ask this question is because at the time you were moving, it was crazy for very good players on the Copper Belt to actually make the trip to the Midlands, or Lusaka as it were.
Yeah. Okay, I think Zanaco is one of the team that who really wanted me to come to Lusaka, even when I was still at school.
What did they offer you?
So when in 1999, you know, when we had the MMD, they started liberalizing the economy. They sold the mines. So when I noticed that they are selling the mines, I said, no, these people who are coming in, maybe they won't be putting money in football.
You felt that way?
Yeah,
that time.
I felt that way. I said, I even told one of my teammates, Vincent Mangam. I told him when they wanted us to move to Zanaka, I told him, Mana, the government has sold the mines. Things won't be the same. Let's move to Lusaka. But him, he remained because he's from there. So that is how I came. And just a year or two down the line, they started complaining that things are not okay here. I had already made the right move because I knew where I'm going. I'll be getting what I deserve.
So
and that is how I came.
So
to
the Midlands actually started making sense for Copperbelt players because of money. It was becoming ugly on the Copperbelt.
Yeah, because the people who bought the mines, they were not injecting the money that they were supposed to inject in football. As a result, most of the teams' performance started going down. That is why you saw now the shift to Midlands teams. Okay, that is the time it came. That is how you saw Zanaco coming into the picture, winning the league. It is because of the government selling the mines, then everything started shifting to
so
Lusaka.
The Lusaka teams had the money and now they could pay. So 4-time league winner with Zanaco. Let's talk about the first one. How did it feel winning the league? And now, of course, it was a huge paradigm shift. How did that Zanaco team actually play to win its first league title?
2002, that was under Coach Danika. That is when we won our first league. I think when he came, he brought in good coaching. He's one coach who encouraged each and every player. And when you are in training, he was a lion. That is the kind of a coach he was. I think he changed that perspective where Zanaco was just a team of maybe finishing 7th position, they are happy. But when he came, he just told us, guys, you know, this talent that I'm seeing here, it's very easy for us to win the league if we can just work together as a team. And the very year that he came, I think we finished 3rd. Then the second year, we won the league.
Tell me something tactical. What was the difference between George Mungo and Dan Cow? It's because I don't know. George Mungo was that a promotion to go?
Yeah, by
a notch up. But what was the difference in terms of the approaches of the two coaches?
The time I came, George Munga was already the technical advisor. Then we had Coach Mike Stoll, the one who's in Botswana, was the head coach with the assistant Christopher Tembo, Chris Gaza. He was the assistant. When they removed Mr. Stoll, that is when Mr. Dan Kabwe came in.
What was Dan Kabwe's approach? How did he want the bankers to play?
He was using a 4-4-2. 4-4-2. Like this. This is how it was. And
Numba there.
Yeah.
In the white areas.
Kelvin kind will be there, or I'll be here. Insofar Charles will be here, because Insofar used to play either on the right, left, and at the top. But when we've got Cosmas Banda or Masao Sotembo here, Charles will be here.
Sport for choice, Masao, Cosmas.
Chaswe
Miller.
That is where the name Zambia B came from. because Zanaco was producing now about 7-8 players to the national team, and that is how the name Zambia came out.
May so rest in peace. Let's talk about Chaswe. What made him special? Playing there or there?
Chaswe was a very, very skillful player. He had a very good stature with good skills. He had good pace. He had very, very good technique and a very powerful shot. That's the kind of a player he was. He was a dribbler at the same time. So he was a player who was complete. It was easy for a coach to use him anyway.
How much talking to would Dan Kabwe actually need to do on a player like him? Because if you're that good going forward, the immediate moral question is, if you're playing wide, you probably need to do a bit of the work defensively.
Yeah.
In terms of Chaswe, was this someone where you'd say, let's work for him, let him go, or come back?
In football, you have to work for one another. If you see that your friend has gone up and you've got an opportunity to go and help him, you just do this, then he'll come and rest somewhere there.
Was it his favorite, dropping back?
No, his position was
mainly those, but when you played him, why?
Yeah, he's one player who would perform when you put him here or you put him here. He was performing. That is the kind of a player he was.
So probably opposition winger and defender would actually we're playing with Chaswe.
What the defenders, when they just hear that there's Chaswe here, you want to see this player crossing the line. They knew that the moment he goes, then we are in problem.
And Chaswe will be told, don't even come back.
This guy is remaining here. Why should he come up? Unless this guy is doing what? It's coming up. But in our time, when we were playing, we were making sure that when we are playing on the flanks, we were making sure that if I'm playing here, I have to make sure that this guy is not
doesn't come up,
so that I make it easy for myself.
Tell me something. 4 league titles you won, but which one would you say was the sweetest? Which one was the most ruthless, most sensational team that
first league
actually won the league title at Zanaco?
The 20-21, that was our first league at Zanaco. I think that was the sweetest because it is something that never happened at Zanaco, and it happened. So we were all jubilating and we were all happy. So when it came the second time, by then we were saying, we can win it
within
no 4 or 5
champions.
Years. You know?
Tell me something. So you also played international football, both for club and country. But let's talk about the Zanaco syndrome. Zanaco would then win the league, but face serious challenges in continental. What, in terms of tactics, probably the multi-million-dollar question is that you're not going to get away with the way you were winning the league.
Yeah.
Never. No way. The continent would not allow you.
Yeah, it was
so
very difficult.
Could you afford to play like this in continental?
For us, it was very difficult to play in continental because the teams that we were playing, they were very good in terms of tactical. Because mostly we were playing open game. You find that way. And when you are playing Arabs, you play an open game.
9-10 up, winger up, winger up. Because you're telling yourself, this guy, keep this guy back, keep this guy back.
These guys, they were very good. Normally Arabs, they were very good. They are very good at ball handling, no pressure. So it was very difficult for us to play. Mostly we were the ones chasing. You would find that this guy is moving up. You have to chase him. The time you are getting the ball, we are already exhausted. It's very difficult for you to do it, to move up.
And that would never happen in the Super League.
No. So it was very difficult for us. But nowadays, we are now being taught how to handle
such situations.
That is why you've seen now that Southern African teams are able to beat Arabs, it is because now they are teaching us what our friends.
Arabs have known for many
years. That is why we are shifting. There is we are seeing that there is a shift because now we are being taught.
But
so we are able now to handle them.
What about the quality of players? Does this remain a big issue? The quality of players. You probably now we're talking about not too long ago, Zanaco making it to the group stage a couple of times after tasting defeat many times. Zesco got to the semi-final. We've got 4 places in Continental Club football, so we've actually been whipped and we've actually earned our stripes. But what about the quality of the local player in readiness for international football? What is your take on that?
I think we have players, but especially the current generation, I think they are lacking the passion. The only difference between our generation and the current generation is the passion. That is the only difference, because players of nowadays, they are
better coached.
They want to play more and work less on the pitch, which is very difficult.
To play more off the pitch.
Off the pitch, which is affecting the performance of the teams.
So, how do you explain some of the success that we've been able to get? Is that have we improved tactically, or as the acquisition of foreign-based players actually helped us? Because once you say Zambia B, Masauso, Cosmas, Charles Femila and so forth, Numba, Kelvin Kaindo, those Kabamba, Kalande. This is Zambia B. They've got international exposure. But we're still getting beaten by the Arabs.
Because they were tactically superior than us. That was the only difference.
So
now we have learned how to handle them. That is why you've seen that we are able to play Arabs, we are able to beat them. Because now, what they were learning, we are learning now. So that is why we are, as coaches, we are very grateful to the association, Football Association, because once they improve on the capacity of the coaches, then we'll have a better footballing nation.
Tell me something. How would you coach a Numba Mumamba at his peak? What were you not taught during your playing career that you wish was done to you or for you when you were a player?
In the past, we never used to learn how to play tactically. Or the coach would say, would just tell you, okay, we are playing 4-4-2, but you don't practice it in training. How to do it when you are with the ball and when you don't have the ball. But now we are doing that. So it is very easy for a player to understand the system, what to do when the team is in possession of the ball and when the team loses possession of the ball. So those are the things that the coaches of the past, they didn't have the knowledge that we are being given now. So it is good that the association continues to educate the coaches so that we get now to the level of the Fergusons, those coaches. Once you do building capacities to the coach, then the country will have a better
it actually helps. 4 AFCONs, Numba. Congratulations. Not many people do that. But all of them, all of them first round.
Yeah, of course. You know, during our time, when we were playing qualifiers, it was only the locals who were playing the qualifiers. And we would win all the games and take the team to the Africa Cup. But when it is Africa Cup now, the professionals come in.
Did that bring problems?
Of course, it would bring problems. There were problems in camp those days. because you find that the local players have played the qualifiers and taken the team to the Africa Cup. And now when you go to the Africa Cup, you just hear that, no, the professionals have been paid monies before the game is played. What money have they been paid without kicking the ball? So when you hear that, that is why there were confusions all the time in camp, because local players who do report, who let them play, because they are the ones who have gotten the money before even kicking the ball.
What problems did Bugat Ziz actually suffer from that problem?
Of course, every time we were at Africa Cup, there were problems.
Okay.
There were problems.
How did Bugat Ziz want to play?
It's not that we didn't have players, because the time I was at the national team, the players that I was playing with, the Kalusha Warriors, Kenneth Maritolis, Zedi Saileti, Tenant Chilumba, Elijah Litana, Wawa Chongo, those are the players that I found at the national team. So when they come, they would give them money.
In advance?
They pay them. We don't know what money they were paying them. From
what
we got, they were saying loss of salary. We don't know what loss of salary it is. But that is what was making the team not to perform at the AFCON, because every time there were issues of money. Yeah,
okay.
No, when you are there, you just boycott, but you can't bring it out.
Bring it out.
You just say, okay, we'll just give 50%. Since our colleagues have gotten the money, they'll make the team win.
How did Bugat want to actually play? And when Bugat came, there was actually this view that he wanted bigger, stronger, mechanical players. And I'm just thinking, a player like Numba, speed, I don't know. Did that sit well with Bugat's German football type?
Of course, if there's one player that Bugat loved, was me. I think from what I heard, he was seeing that this young boy can deliver for the nation. That is why Bugat used to play me on the left as a left back sometimes, or the right back.
How did he want the team to?
We were playing a 3-5-2 with Bugat.
Again. And you play you as wing back?
Yes.
So it was nothing to do with talent in your view. It was just the atmosphere in camp not being right.
Yeah, it was just the atmosphere. It's not that
but was he accepted though by the group? That hey, we are going to work for your coach.
You know, when he came, he wasn't accepted by especially most of the professionals.
He was more loved by the local.
Because he was somebody who was, he wanted what he wanted. So that is where the problem was. So it was very difficult, especially for the professionals now to work with him. That is why it was difficult for us to perform at the AFCON in Burkina Faso.
Tell me something. You won COSAFA with George Mungo.
With
Phyton. With Phyton Semkondere. What was the difference between the Phyton of Blades earlier in your career and the one who actually won COSAFA?
I think there wasn't any difference, because what he was teaching at Blades is what he brought at the national team. So it was very easy for us to play and perform. I think that COSAFA we won, I was on the bench, and I just went in as a substitute about 15 minutes before the end of the match, and Bruce Grobler was the one who was in goals. I just got the ball from here. I dribbled my way, hit the ball, came back. I think it was Kilambe who finished, and we won 1-0 against Zimbabwe.
That was a tough game.
It was a tough game.
Well, hell of a game.
Just a few minutes before full time. That is how we scored. Because Globra spilled the ball that I hit, and Kilambe went for a follow-up. And we came back as champions.
Tell me something. Let's talk about. It could be an emotional subject for you, but I would like to get it from you. Your brother, Mwila, may so rest in peace. Part of the Fallen Heroes, 1993. Some people never got to see him play. So, according to you, somebody you probably ate on the same plate with, probably shared football boots with.
Yeah.
Who was Mwila Numba, and what made him a special player from where you start?
Mwila Numba was a left winger, left-footed player, very short, very skillful, good speed, very intelligent on the ball. He was a dribbler. That is why those days they used to call him small man with big ideas. When he's on the ball, then just know that defenders are in problems. That's the kind of a player he was. He was also a player who was a utility player. He can play in midfield, he can play at the top. That is the kind of a player. Though he had a strong left foot, the right foot was a bit weak. But he had a very, very powerful left.
Where from your interactions with him, where do you think he preferred to play? Because if you said he was a utility player in an attacking sense.
Yeah, he was a utility player in the sense that when a team maybe is lacking
a number 8,
an attacking midfielder, maybe this player is injured or is red carded, they would bring him. I would watch him play here when he was at Nkana and Vitaform. They would use him here and he would perform wonders. You would think he's
a typical number 8.
Number 8. You can't notice the difference when he's here or when he's played here. That is the kind of a player he was. He was very talented. We are far from him. What you've seen I was doing on the pitch, maybe times 2. That is the kind of a player he was.
Great. But I'm just thinking, I'm going to ask this question because perhaps your brother's generation had Charles Msonda, had him, and later as we went on in life, the position number 8 became a problem, seemingly in this country. Would you agree with that school of thought that now we started having a problem with finding a good number 8 that would make our wingers and our strikers look good?
Yeah, we had a bit of problems, but after some time, some players came on the scene. We had players like my friend and young brother Peri Mtapa. He's one of the best midfielders that this country has ever had. When he's here,
post 2000,
when he's in midfield, his one player was just telling us, when he just does this, just know that a player is coming to you. That is the kind. You had very good vision, very intelligent on the ball. Even if you watch him today play Madalas, you would see that this one was a very good player.
Well, was he made? Was he coached?
Of course, I played with Perry at the under-17, under-20, so he's somebody that I've known and played with for quite some time. And if I compare the current generation, this time we've got problems.
Attacking midfielder.
Position. Somebody intelligent, somebody who would command the midfield when you are playing. This is what we are lacking because he's one player who had confidence, everything on the ball. Getting the ball from his feet, it was very difficult. That is the midfielder that we are lacking nowadays in the country.
Finally, from winning the league as a player, you got a chance to win it as a coach, head coach.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about your league winning team.
Yeah, I think in 2016, that is when I was appointed as head coach for Zanaco, when they elevated Mr. Agri Chiangi to technical advisor. I think on my first year as a coach, we came second to Zesco. Then the following year, 2017, that is when we won the league. And before even the league started, you know, when you're preparing the team, we usually have these meetings with the executive. So I was talking to them, telling them that from the past season and this season, which we are about to start, from what I've seen in the team, we are going to easily win the league. I told them, I think a minimum of 80 points. So when I was telling them this, they were thinking I was dreaming.
High on high grade cocaine.
You know, you are seated with the executive, they are there, you are telling.
Did you place any demands? Did you want new players? Did you want?
Yeah, of course, we had to fuse in a few players in the team. So I told them, okay, so what they did is they told me, okay, we've heard what you are telling us. Can you put it in writing? So I did that and gave them a document. So I told them, first round, we have to finish with a minimum of 40 points. And the time we were finishing the first round, we were at 41 points. The time the league was ending, we finished with 81 points.
You got exact same number of
I told
first
them
half and second.
we'll win the league with a minimum of 80 points. That is what I told them. And we finished the league.
What did you really do? Because a lot of observers said, now, you played like this.
Yeah, we used the same 4-4-2. But what I did is after a season, I saw that the team that I have, they've stayed together for some time, 4 or 5 years. So it was very easy for us to win the league. I just brought in maybe 1 or 2 players just to fill in a few loops which were not okay. And we managed to win the league that year. Then I think the following year, 2018, we managed to win the first ever Barclays Cup at Zanaco. So I'm the first coach to have won the Barclays Cup for Zanaco.
Legends of sorts.
Yeah.
Now, finally, I want to know, when you won the league and that little devil called Continental Football came, you played there, you knew what it meant, even for your young side. How did you prepare for it differently?
Yeah, the first continental games, we had a bit of problems because we were playing open game when we played the Arabs, and we were kicked out very, very fast in the competition. So after we were kicked out, when I came back home, I started now analyzing how the team performed. Then I told myself, no, I think when we're in continental, we need to make a bit of adjustments on how we should play, so that we can manage our opponents.
That level. What change were you going to do?
So what I did is, now instead of us playing a 4-4-2, we started playing this.
2 defensive midfielder.
Yeah. So you can call it maybe 4-5-1 or 4-2-3-1. Okay, so that you try and congest the midfield, because this is where, especially the Arab teams, this is where they work from. Once you open the spaces here, they have possession of the ball, then they will expose you, because they will maneuver the ball here Then somebody's moving up. Then they would suddenly hit the ball, switch the ball there. They entice you this side, they create this working space here, they take the ball aside. So now we designed a system so that we tell these players to stick around here, and we congest here so that we try and manage them here in midfield so that they are unable to play the ball in midfield. If they are playing here, well and good. They are playing in front of us, and it will be very difficult for them to penetrate in the midfield. And that is how we managed to play against the Arabs, beat some Arab teams.
Yeah, and as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
But just one final one. The number 10. Ideally, whoever you'd play would play the whole season like that. But now, needing to play the role of the creator. Was this a problem position? Because we talked about having a box-to-box player that could link play back and forward.
So now you have to look at your team. For me to come up with this kind of a system, which player has the qualities to play this position?
Would you say it was a problem in one word?
It wasn't a problem because the player that I had here, I had Seth Sakara. He's the one who was playing here as a supporting striker. So he was helping in midfield, and immediately we get the ball,
you could support the number
9. So it was very easy to manage our opponents in continental games, and this is what helped Zanaco to perform in continental. But we were playing mostly this system when we were playing the Arabs because they are tactically superior than us. So you need to design a formation or a system that will manage them so that you are not exposed.
Coach, thank you. To be continued.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure appearing on your program.